to episode 17 of Girl Talk Pod. It's just me today. We've got a solo episode for you all. I hope you enjoyed the Montana episode. It was so fun to shoot out there. And I just have to give you a little background. So, Christina was out of sorts. For legal purposes, I'm not going to tell you the sorts that she was out of, but she was so out of it. And it was, the feedback that I got from people watching the episode, they're like, the first episode that you did with Christina, she talked the entire time and I didn't. And then this episode, I just talked the entire time. And she's so funny because she was just like not there in present time. So it was just funny to like see her and hear her responses to the things that I would say. I would ask her a question and she'd be like, mm-hmm. It wasn't like a yes or no question. But if you haven't watched that episode, go watch it. Or if you have watched it and maybe didn't notice it, go watch it and just like notice Christina. And she's just on another planet just from the night before, just being tired. And like I said, legal purposes, she was tired. And it was just super funny because we yap so much and it was like pulling teeth to get things out of her mouth. But to build on that, Montana, I didn't get to come and like really talk to you and like recap the trip. We talked about it on that episode, so I won't get into all like the entire itinerary, but I just have to say that that trip, I needed it. It was a trip for the soul, and I really needed to go be out with nature, be around good people, be around good energy, and that's exactly what it was. I am so glad that I went out and got to experience that. And I'm so thankful for our friends that invited us because we had such a good time. And I just realized being there, my body and my soul were just so light. And I just felt super at peace while I was there. And it's made me come back to Dallas and just realize that I need to kind of evaluate what this next step in life is going to be. I know I'm going through a really big transitional period right now of, quitting my job and really trying to find out what fulfills me. And then I'm also making all these revelations in relationships and friendships and just trying to figure out like what is it that I need to be doing that's going to make me feel whole. And so it's a beautiful experience, but it can be really hard on your mental health when you kind of feel, I wouldn't say lost, but you just don't really know exactly like what that next step's going to look like. And if you're someone that's like me and that craves structure just because growing up with all these inconsistencies and, everything's been pretty volatile since I was little, I crave that structure and, you know, comfort in the consistency and the routine and all of that. So, not having that has definitely affected my mental health. The mental health is not healthing that well right now. I just kind of feel a little anxious being at home, but I just know that's a part of growth, right? The feelings of anxiety and fear and worry and excitement, they all kind of feel the same. So I'm trying to really dig in and like figure out what actually it is that I'm feeling because I don't think it's necessarily anxiety in a bad way. I think that it's excitement and a little bit of mix of like the fear of the unknown. So it's kind of a plethora of all those things mixed into one, but I just have to make sure I really quiet my surroundings, try to quiet my mind just to really figure out what it is. So I've been journaling a lot. I've been meditating. I've been doing some breath work with a girl that I met on the Montana trip. She's got a studio out here and she does a breathing method that's really amazing and it has really opened my mind, regulated my nervous system, and just caused me to kind of sit and be quiet and just try to listen to what my body's trying to tell me. So it's a transitional period that I'm actually really excited and grateful to be in, but it just can be a little scary at times. And, my anxiety kind of correlates with depression at times. So I've definitely had mornings that it's been harder to, get out of bed, especially when you don't have a job anymore that you have to report to, and you're just kind of creating things to do. And I asked for this. I wanted that. So I really wanted to set myself up to where I can quit my job and then I have some time to just explore and be lazy and wake up whenever I wanted to. So I just have to remind myself of those things because I asked for it and that's what I wanted. So we're here, we're doing it. But to be completely honest and transparent, it's been some up and down days. But overall, I keep gratitude in my heart because I'm so blessed to live the life that I do and be surrounded by the people that I'm surrounded by. And I just know that opportunities are going to keep unfolding as they have since I, started to release things that no longer serve me. And also, I got a haircut in color today. You can't, like, the headphones are kind of blocking it, but I trimmed up my hair a little bit and then I dyed it. My roots were god awful. I hadn't gotten my hair done in like 2 months. So, girlies, it's like a 6-week thing. So my roots were the length of my roots were about half the length of my hair. So it was time to color it and I got that done. So did a little self-care today, which I love. And I love getting my hair done. I love going to get my nails done. I love getting a service where people are touching you and taking care of you. Love massages, facials, all of that. So that is definitely a form of self-care, and it's just kind of nice to just have someone do something for you. So I got my hair done. I'm feeling good, feeling refreshed, and just excited to keep exploring and reflecting and doing the things that I need to do. My birthday is a week from yesterday. Today is Tuesday. My birthday is on Monday, the 29th, and I am I was having a bad relationship with my birthday last week, and I'm going to get into it, but now it's a little bit better. I planned a fun dinner with my girls, and we're going to celebrate on my birthday, and I've done a few little celebrations since then, but I spoke about this, that I was going to Europe this summer and that I was actually going to be landing in the south of France on my birthday, but I'm no longer doing that. I got uninvited on this Europe trip, and I'm not going to get into much of the details because this podcast is about me and my experiences, and I just don't want this to be a space to just kind of air out drama, but not even saying it's drama, but just, yeah. So I got uninvited from this trip, and to keep it very surface level, it was just the wrong place or the right place with the wrong people. I was going on this trip, being invited by a friend of mine, and I didn't really know. I know the people that are going on the trip, but not well, and I'm not friends with them. So I was really only friends with the one person that invited me. And it just kind of, as we got closer to the trip, we just realized that it just would probably be best if they're all friends, they go on the trip, and then, I should probably do something else. And my mindset is there now, seeing that I would rather not settle for a trip just to go on a trip. And I would rather be with the exact people that I want to be with in a place that I know I'm going to love. And France is special to me because I have always been drawn to the country, the culture, the language. And I was French Club president when I was in high school. I was in French National Honor Society, and I used to be conversationally fluent in French. And I actually just started taking French lessons in April this year. And I really started picking them up to prepare for this trip because I think that it's super complimentary to a country when you really try to learn the language and the culture and, just different things. So I was really excited to go. But again, I know that I will be there eventually, exactly when I'm supposed to be there. And this is just kind of a trust the universe moment, and realize that, I can take myself anywhere I want in this world, and I should be with exactly who I want to be with. So that's where my mindset is right now. And you just have to learn like how to pivot. And so that's what I'm trying to do with my birthday. I've got a dinner planned. Sadly, I was supposed to go to Austin this last weekend, and I was going to see Brooke. She was flying in from Denver, and then I had another girlfriend who's was coming in, and then some girls from Dallas were going to go. And I ended up canceling that trip because I thought it was going to be too much travel back to back, because I was going to be getting back and then be leaving for Europe this weekend. So that sucks, because I wanted to see my best friend, and it was going to be, a great weekend, and I love my birthday, and I just haven't had a good birthday in a few years, especially like with the girls. The last few years I've been in a relationship, so I've done like couples trips, and my birthday last year was a fucking disaster, which we're not going to get into the details of that, but I was just really craving like a good birthday with the girls. So disappointed that I didn't get to do that. But again, I celebrate life year round, and I just have to lean in and trust the universe on this one, that there's bigger plans for me, and I fully believe that. So that's a little birthday update. And we'll, I'll next week I'm going to do a birthday episode, and I'll get into the details of that as we close this episode out later. But I'm excited. Maybe 26. I'm going to be 1 year closer to the next decade, and I can't wait to like reflect on the last year, which we're going to do next week together. So I'm really excited. It's birthday countdown is on less than a week, and I'm really just excited to hang out with friends and family. So this episode, the last solo episode I talked about this. We're going to talk about kind of my career and experiences in modeling, professional modeling for fun, and some of the, I did an episode earlier this year on New York Fashion Week, and just kind of what that's looked like in my life, and the good times, the bad times, and just gonna talk about how I got started in that, and what my plan is like now in life with it, and just the experiences. If you have ever been interested in it, or if you've been in that, you've modeled and you've made a career out of it, if you can resonate to any of these stories. And yeah, so I just want to get into it. So let's get started. So modeling. First off, I just want to say that like modeling, I know that like some people might think it's silly, but I think that modeling is a career that takes a lot of hard work, a lot of mental strength, and a lot of dedication to feeling and looking your best all the time. Like imagine like literally having to feel and look the best like all the time. That's impossible. Sounds impossible, but like these girls do this, and they go out and they, work 8 hours, and they're just making you have to make sure your face looks good, your hair, your body, everything. It's a grueling career. It's rewarding because it can be very highly paid jobs, and you get to travel and you get to work with cool brands and stuff, but it is grueling. It is a grueling industry, and it takes a lot of hard work. And at one point, this was my dream job. I wanted to be a model. I grew up, being told, you're so beautiful, you're so gorgeous, like you should be a model, you should do this. And I really cannot thank my mom more for, putting me in sports, and we moved around a ton, and I don't have any regrets, and I don't wish it was different at all. But I did want to be a model when I was younger. I would say probably like high school is when I like wanted to pursue that. But then I went to college, and I didn't do that. I didn't really start modeling until I was about I started modeling when I was in college, but after I moved home from Ole Miss and like was back in Dallas, and we'll get into the chronological of it all as I like to tell stories. But I realized quickly that the industry can be really fucking ugly. And I know that not everyone's experience is the same in the industry, but I know we've all been told similar stories, and some being horror stories. And I have a few horror stories in the industry that I'm going to tell later on. And it's just, I had to make a decision that I wanted to go do something more with my life, and I just couldn't, this couldn't be the career that I chose. And I have no regrets, and I still do it for fun. I model and work with photographers, and I do campaigns, and I do side jobs and all this. It's something that I've done since I think my first job was like 18 or 19 years old. And so I still do it, I still partake, but you just have to really be able to recognize like when things are kind of going south, and you've got to set boundaries for yourself, because I didn't at times. It got taken advantage of, and you just have to realize like nothing is worth your peace, and you should never sell yourself because you think that you want to live this life of being a model, and it's not as glamorous as it can seem. So I said a little bit earlier, like people would always ask me like, hey, why aren't you a model? Or like, you're so gorgeous. Like, and I still get that all the time. Like people are asking me like, do you model? Do you model? And so I'm like, okay, then this should be easy. Like people are asking me like, why am I not a model? I'm going to apply to some agencies and be a model. And then I got told no a million times. I've never been signed with an agency ever. I've went to castings, I've submitted, and I've never been picked up by an agency ever because of, I think one, there was a lot of self-confidence that I probably didn't have, and people can probably see that. And then two, I'm 5'7", like 5'6 3/4" technically, which I went to a casting once and I was like, I'm 5'7", and they got out a measuring tape and they're like, no, you're not. You're 5'6 3/4", and I was like, okay, so am I supposed to round down? But being that height, models are typically pretty tall and like very slender and lean, and it's because of clothes. When clothing lines make sample sizes, they make it to fit this figure, and they want it to photograph well, and it's all intentional, and it's just, there's different avenues of modeling. There's runway, there's print, there's editorial, there's campaign like shooting and commercial, and there's just different avenues of it. And I live in Dallas, where the Dallas is very small. The market is very small. It's not very diverse, I feel like, in the modeling industry. It's like print for a lot of very big companies. And like Miami, for example, is like very high on like swim, or like the industry is led like by swim and like athletic wear and like sport, athletic modeling and stuff like that, which I think that I would fit in really well in that market, but I don't live in Miami. So Dallas, I got told no a lot because my measurements just weren't there. And I was like, well, if my measurements aren't there, but like I have a face, like can't we just like figure it out? No, that's not how it works. Because you have to like, yes, there's so many fucking beautiful people out there in the world. Like so many beautiful people. And so it's super competitive. And if you don't check all these boxes, they're going to go find another pretty girl that's going to check these boxes. And I just didn't check a lot of them. And so being told no, right? Your confidence gets shot. And that's what I was saying earlier, that like modeling, the mental strength is, you have to have very good mental strength and kind of just self-confidence and self-awareness, and be able to reassure yourself of your self-worth. And so, but being told no, you start to think like there's something wrong with me. You start to create body dysmorphia, and you kind of just stop believing in, yourself. And you just think that maybe, people are just being nice when they're telling you these things, that you're beautiful and you should be a model. And your self-worth just kind of like teeters a little bit. And that it might definitely happen to me, especially being like 18, 19, when you're just like getting into your body, and like your body changes so much from like high school to college, and my body has changed so much this year alone. So just being told that in that point in my life was like, discouraging. But, I was able to like talk myself off of ledges and just be like, okay, well, maybe this isn't for you, but it still hurt at times for sure. The body dysmorphia, you're trying to look like lose weight, and then you develop a bad habit with food. I developed a really bad habit with food. Luckily, I've never had an eating disorder, and never struggled with bulimia or anorexia or anything like that, but I can see how people can go down these paths. I know a lot of models that have gone down these paths, and I was in a rabbit hole of just like searching model diets, like not really understanding nutrition and like how that worked and calorie deficits and all of that. But you're 18, you're 19, you're looking up like, what does Adriana Lima eat and how is she, and you can't find anything because it doesn't exist. There a lot of people, in that industry are not eating and do not have healthy eating habits, and that's not, put out there, to the public. But you do have to reel it in though. Like you talk about how these models and stuff talk, like how they're so thin and all of that. It's like it takes a lot of fucking hard work and dedication, and you have to be a really, really strict on your health, your diet. Like no drinking alcohol, be very mindful of what you eat. And yeah, that can lead to a really bad relationship with food, but you have a goal here. Just like when people are competing in physique competitions, they have a set diet and they cannot teeter from that diet, and it is literally measured out by the carb, the gram, the whatever. And it's because they have a specific goal. And long term, that goal is not sustainable. The percentage of body fat that they get to is not sustainable. It's not healthy, but they have a goal. They have to be disciplined and they have to make sacrifices. And that's what models do. And no, I don't think that models should, promote bad like eating habits, but realistically, like if you have a goal in anything in your life, you're going to have to make sacrifices for it. And in that industry, it's just, you don't get to eat whatever you want whenever you want. You have to be very selective, and I think sometimes that comes off as promoting, body bad, like that was promoting things that can lead to body image issues. But you have to realize like they work in this industry, and you enjoy these pictures that they post, you enjoy these campaigns, the marketing, all of that, the magazines, the photo shoots, like you enjoy all of that and you consume all of that. And you just have to realize like they have to have a standard for themselves and they have to be dedicated. And that doesn't mean that you have to do it. It doesn't mean that anyone else has to do it. That's just what they're doing for their industry. And I know it's gotten really unhealthy. It led me to have bad relationships with food, to the point where like I just didn't want to eat because I just got overcomplicated and all of that. So there is a balance for sure. There's a healthy way to do it, but you just have to make sure that it's something that you want to, fight for or it's something that you want to do for yourself. Because when I was competing for pageants, I had a nutritionist. I ate the same meal 5 times a day for months. And I had a goal that I wanted to compete, and I wanted to be in a swimsuit on stage in front of all these people. And it sucked, but I had to do it to reach my goal. And then I just had to realize like it was for a short period of time, and I had, things that benchmarks that I wanted to meet and all that. So it can go down a very slippery slope. So you just have to make sure that you're in a good mindset with it all, that you're healthy when you're approaching these things, and you have to realize like in the long term, like these are not healthy. But if you have a goal and you're trying to hit it, and then just be able to find the balance afterwards. Let's build off of pageantry, because pageantry was probably the biggest catalyst for me for in my modeling career. Let's just say the career of modeling. When I did pageants, I met a lot of people, and they kind of go hand in hand, modeling and pageantry. So when I was in pageants, I met a lot of people when I'm doing headshots for my ad pages and my competitions. You meet photographers, you meet dress designers because you're wearing these dresses and all that. So that's how it kind of really started for me, was when I was in pageants. I was connected with these people, and then I started working with dress designers, and so I started doing a lot of prom, pageant, and wedding. I even did quinceañera dresses. And so that was kind of the start. I was like a perfect sample size in those dresses. So I worked a lot of markets. I did photo shoots. I did runway shows for these dress designers and those connections that I built through modeling or through pageantry. And then also, I worked with photographers. And so photographers typically have clients, that brands that they work with, and then they can connect you. So I worked with a photographer that connected me with a bikini line, and he also gave me some other jobs too. So you make connections through that as well. So pageantry was the catalyst. And then I have only ever done freelance modeling. Like I said, I've never been with an agency before. And so I also started building a social media presence as well. I started getting a lot of followers, just being like posted by different brands, being involved in different things. And by that, I was able to connect with brands, and I would do like brand ambassador stuff, but I also would get hired to do shoots in the local Dallas area. I also traveled to model in Austin, Houston, Miami, LA. I've traveled to model too, that I met people like on social media and or through photographers and stuff like that. So building that social media presence, going and getting to like a test shot is when you go work with a photographer and just get kind of like some digitals, and then you just build kind of a portfolio. And that's what I did. I was shooting all the time, and I was just building a portfolio, posting these pictures on social media, and then getting contacted by different brands, different photographers, and stuff like that. So that's one way that I kind of jump started that career outside of the prom pageant world, because that was super fun, and like I loved wearing wedding dresses and dressing up and doing all that. But I knew I wanted to do something more like sexy as I got older, and I wanted to do swim, and so then I started getting into that. And so I would connect with photographers, and I just love building that community, because some photographers they're just so awesome, they're so creative, they're so talented, and you kind of team up when you've got this modeling experience. And I have a ton of friends that I kind of help a lot with, like they like products and they want to start to get into fashion and like shooting models and stuff, and they're trying to build a portfolio. So it's just like this mutually beneficial relationship that you're building, and it's really fun because I still have friends that are photographers, and they'll just be like, hey, I want to shoot this look, like, do you want to do it? And it's like super fun for me. It's a portfolio ad for me, it's experience for them, and it's just, these relationships can be extremely fun and beneficial. And that's, I still do that. I have good friends now. I had good friends then. We would do the same thing, and I would get to teach them things about the model side, and they teach me things about the photography side. And when I was building the podcast, I've gotten a ton of insight from my friends who are photographers and videographers about cameras, equipment, editing, all of that. So I just have created an awesome network in the modeling space, which I love, and it's just one of the pros of doing it. And I would love to do some like creative directing one day as I just build more experience. And I would love it. I would love it so much to just kind of be able to bring ideas to life in shoots. And as much fun as it is to like be the model, like I think putting together an idea and like having it come to life, like that's something that really fuels me and like gets me excited. So that might be something that I explore it now on my journey of career searching. But I wanted to, I guess that's that's my story, and those are just like a few ways that I kind of got started and the pros of the industry. And it's fun, you get to wear the clothes and you get to keep things. And I've gotten like full wardrobes from photographers because they're guys and they're just like, I I don't have anything to do with, like, I don't know what to do with these, so like, here, keep these. And I still have some of like the best pieces, and like dress companies, you just build relationships, which is awesome. It's just some of the perks of the industry. But I assume it just gets better and better as you get bigger and bigger and like work with bigger brands. But I don't really know what modeling looks like for me in the next, like in the future. I love to do it for fun. I love to do like high fashion editorial fun campaigns. You'll see me post a few stuff, like I just did a few amazing shoots, and I love that. That's what I love. But when it comes to, really like growing that career, you've got to be open to more things that maybe you don't necessarily want to do, because you can't be selective until you're like at that like top peak level. But I just am having fun with it now. So we'll see. Who knows? I've thought about maybe submitting some digitals to agencies in Miami or New York, but I don't want to live in Miami. I'm going to New York in a few weeks, and I've always loved New York City. Never knew if I could live there, but I'm going to go explore, and I don't know, maybe I could move there. And I don't know. We'll see. So that's kind of something that I've been thinking about doing maybe. But again, I'm just doing it for fun. I just want to keep having fun with it, because I just know from personal experience that if I get too caught up in relying on this industry to, one, pay my bills and fulfill me confidence wise, there's a slippery slope there. So I just want to maintain a healthy relationship for the for first and foremost, maintain a healthy relationship, because I'm having fun with it. And now I want to like segue into the not so glamorous parts of the industry. We talked about the eating disorders that could develop, the body dysmorphia, but I want to talk about the fucking creeps in the modeling industry. I had a conversation with a girl recently, a few weeks ago, that she worked with this photographer that I worked with years ago, and she had a terrible experience, and he was the first awful experience that I ever had in the modeling industry. And it makes my stomach hurt thinking about some of the younger girls that do work with him still, because I was 18 when I first started working with him, and it just makes my stomach hurt. And I'm going to get in the details on that story, but in general, there are people that try to take advantage of you, especially when you're a young, hungry model, especially again, if you are dealing with low self-esteem and you've got these wide eyes looking into this industry thinking that it's super glamorous and like being a model's it, because I was there and I had been taken advantage of by photographers and dress designers, and been put in uncomfortable situations because I thought that was going to help me escalate my career. And you hear about it. You hear about this in Hollywood. You hear about it in the modeling industry. You hear about it in many industries, but specifically like modeling and acting is people in charge try to take advantage of these people who are trying to hustle and like become something of themselves. And you just have to always remember, like, nothing is worth losing your peace and your who you are. Nothing in life, no dollar, no magazine cover, no experience, trip, nothing is worth losing your peace. And you have to you have to protect yourself. And I just was extremely vulnerable, and these people in power, I have only experienced this with men, but I'm sure women do it just as much. And these people in power just see you as, and it's predatorial and it's disgusting and it makes me sick to my stomach. but they see you as just kind of a weak and vulnerable person, and they take advantage of you. So in an experience that I had with a photographer, and I just get disgusted thinking that this could be happening to other people, because it's a problem and it's terrifying. And this photographer, I originally started working with him for pageant headshots, and I was 18, and I've never done a photo shoot like this before, and I was by myself. And so I did this photo shoot, and we're just doing pageant headshots. So like I had a makeup artist there, and then we did some like more natural looks and stuff like that. And then he waited until the makeup artist left and I was alone. And he starts talking to me, and he's like, "Hey, like, are you a model? Like, have you ever thought about modeling?" And I was like, "No, I mean, I haven't. This was like the start of my pageant journey." And he was like, "Well, like, let me see your body. Like take your," he's like, I just want to see your body and just like let you know like which, like avenue of the industry like would be best for you." So he's like, "Take your pants off, or like take your shirt off." And I mean, I had a bra and underwear on, but still, like, I'm 18 years old by myself, this older man's apartment, or studio apartment. Like, he had a studio in his apartment. And I'm like feeling super uncomfortable, but then I'm just like, is this normal? I mean, he's got a book of like these beautiful women like doing tasteful nude. He's showing me them, and I was like, okay, well, like, if they're doing it, like, okay. So I do that, and I just remember afterwards like feeling like super disgusted, and I just wanted to like I just wanted to cry, but I was like, it's fine, like, it's just my body, like, but I just felt kind of used and manipulated, and I had that awareness then. And then he was just like promising, he's like, "Oh yeah, like, I can get you hooked up with this brand and these brands, and like we just need to take like um tasteful, like, sexy pictures, like nude, and showing not anything like, that's like pornographic, but it's tasteful and like it's fine, like, and then I can send these to these brands." And I'm just like, I just want to be a model, and I just want to work with brands. So in my mind, I'm just like ignoring all the red flags, and I'm like, okay, we'll do this shoot. He's so inappropriate when we shoot. And it got to the point where I was just like, I'll never shoot with this person again, but never raised any alarms about it, because I was like, I consented to doing this. He never like physically touched me or anything, but he, he manipulated me, and I was so young. And like I said, I know he's worked with girls that are younger than 18. I pray to God that their parents have been with them. But there are just these people of power in this industry that take advantage of vulnerable women, men, that are just trying to make a career for themselves, because they think that they want to live this glamorous lifestyle that is being a model. But in reality, there are monsters in this industry, and I just unfortunately have had to deal with a few of them. And they've not only been photographers, they've been owners of brands that, flirt with you, and you want to be booked on shows, and you want to be booked for shoots, and then they flirt with you and they ask you to dinner. And luckily, never have entertained any of those offers, but I was able to recognize it, and it just turned me off so much, because I just loved it so much. But then you've got these people who just try to take advantage of it and turn it into something super ugly. And then for a while after dealing with that, I just was like, I'm done with this shit. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to focus on school. And I just put modeling on the back burner. I was like, you know what? I'm not dealing with this anymore. And then COVID hit. And then I just kind of was already in the mindset of like, that was a part of my life that no longer exists. And I'm just going to keep moving forward with my career. And it wasn't really until last year that I really started modeling again. I think end of 2022, I shot once with this photographer. And then last year is like the most shoots I've done since I was doing it more often. And then now I've just been kind of, doing it for fun. I've definitely been doing it a lot more, that I have more free time now, but I just love it. I just love feeling the creative, and like, you can find good people in this industry. I have found them. I know, because I know them, they exist. And you just have to be cautious and be able to weed out the people that do not have your best intentions in mind. And you can do this by, bringing friends to shoots. And I do that now. I bring friends to shoots, even if I don't even necessarily like feel super uncomfortable. Even if I just don't know somebody first, like bring someone to your shoot and have them with you. So because you're less likely to be, you know, targeted or assaulted or just whatever if someone is with you. So that's what I would suggest, is bring someone with you. Bring your mom, bring your friends. Make sure that it's like a public place. You're not going to someone's house, and just kind of vet them. Like if you have other people that have worked with them, or other people that have worked with them, ask them, reach out to them, be like, hey, like what's going on? Like, or if you have other models, and this has happened with me before, like a girl didn't feel comfortable with this guy. She asked him and was like, hey, do you need another model for your shoot? She invited me. We shot together. He ended up being really fucking cool. But, that's another thing. Just like never feel like you have to go do something alone. And you can always bring a friend. I'll go with you. I got free time. Ask me. Because this girl that I just ran into that had experience with the same photographer that violated me, I was like, girl, I wish I would have known you. I wish we would have met before you done this. I would have warned you, because she had the same fucking experience. And I just felt like looking into a mirror. And she's young. She's like 4 years younger than me. And I just like felt like I was looking in a mirror, and I was like, I wish I could have prevented that from you. So hopefully I'm not going to blast that photographer, just because that's not something that's something that I've healed from, and that's something that I've dealt with, and that's a personal decision. But I just, wish I could, if I can just teach you how to be cautious, that's all I can hope for in this storytelling. And that's what the whole point of Girl Talk Pod is, for you to share my experiences so you don't have to make the same fucking mistakes as I do. So I would just lean into never feeling like you have to sell yourself or your soul for the chance of having a shot at this glamorous lifestyle. Because I hope that some of my stories that I've told you prove to you that it's not fucking glamorous as it seems. And you just have to make sure that you set healthy boundaries, and then just vet people, and never be afraid to speak up when you're uncomfortable, and never put yourself in situations that are making you uncomfortable just because you think that you're going to benefit. Because you're going to feel a lot better if you stand up for yourself, and then still can create the life that you want, and never, you can't, like, no one can ever say that you sold your soul to get to where you were. Because I know a lot of people have fucking done that. And they want to sit there on their high horse and be like, I got here, but like, how did you get there? And it's just not fair, because then you have permeable young women and men that see that behavior, and they think that that's okay when it's not okay. So that's the modeling episode right there. I didn't mean it to get so somber, but we've got to warn people about fucking creeps out there that try to take advantage of you, because they're out there. And it's not just this industry. I know that, like, I've heard about it in different industries, like sales industries, and I've heard stories from friends about higher ups and their industry. It's cross industry, and it exists, and it's a problem. But that's just my personal experiences in the modeling industry. But if you have any questions about it, or like or just stories you want to tell, or anything, like, reach out to me, because I'm all ears and I'm here for you. And it's been really fun, and I love it, and I am still doing it for fun. So I'm excited to continue down this path. I feel like I'm in a really good place of self-confidence, and you can just see that in my pictures. Like, the shoots that I'm doing now are like the best shoots I've ever done in my life. And that's, I used to do it modeling like almost like full time, and now I'm doing it for fun. And I think these shoots are the best I've ever done, which I love. And I think it all just goes from, it's just maturity and self-confidence and healing, and, setting boundaries and building great relationships with these people in the creative industry. So Next week is going to be another solo episode. And then we're going to have a guest after that. So next week's going to be a birthday episode. It's going to be manifesting, reflecting, goal setting, and then kind of foreshadowing what I would love the year of 26 to look like for me. We'll talk about some upcoming trips. We'll talk about, this transition period that I've been in the last couple of months. And we'll just talk about what 25 gave me, the things that I'm so excited to bring into 26, and the things that I'm so excited to leave in the fucking past, because 25 was a great fucking year. One of probably the best years. Like I'm telling, like one of the best years of my life, but also one of the hardest years of my life at times. And we're going to get into that all next week on Tuesday. So I'll see you then. I'll see you next Tuesday on episode 18 of Girl Talk Pod. Bye. Bye. Bye.